And so our next gospel value is dignity of persons. So when we think of dignity of persons, what do you think of, Father?
Well, Rob, let me just quote to you what a very wise and saintly person has written in this regard. We are currently dealing with a pandemic, a global medical emergency. We're all looking forward to a return to normalcy. We will never think of our world in quite the same way we did before the arrival of COVID-19. But realizing in very concrete ways just how interconnected we all are, that is, the 7.5 billion of us on Earth, and how closely our own well-being is tied to the well-being of our neighbor. As well, we're recognizing the vulnerability of so many people throughout the world. Catholics ask the following question: what is my relationship with my fellow members of the global community? Are they truly people for whom I have a personal responsibility? Are they my brothers and sisters? Remembering Jesus' words, whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, you do also to me. Is my relationship with God closely tied to the care, love I show to others, especially to those in need? A Catholic should acquire more than the ability to look after himself or herself. Based on their own experience of being loved by God and created with a God-given capacity for love, they should find the deepest fulfillment in putting that love into action. And that love recognizes is rooted in the dignity of the human person, everyone created in the image and likeness of God. So with an eternal destiny, it's hard for us to think of the guy we're standing next to or 6 feet from at the grocery store as someone who was created by God to live forever, whose life transcends those 60 or 70 or 80 years we enjoy here on this planet. It's hard for us to think of ourselves in that way, But so the dignity of each human being and the fact that we have a responsibility to care for the well-being of our neighbor, especially the more vulnerable among us, and we're all vulnerable in various ways. I think speaks to the heart of the Christian faith and makes us aware of just how the dignity of each person. If you can carry that within you, that sense of the dignity of your neighbor, it helps you to appreciate your own dignity as well, I think. Christ died for us all.
Well said, Father. And how can you think of an example how people can continue to show that respect for dignity of persons during this time?
Well, I give that one some thought. Well, bearing with one another, I think, is important. Certainly there are the wider, deeper, the wider issues of the dignity of the human person from the moment of creation to natural death, et cetera, et cetera. But on a more day-to-day basis, putting up with impatience and refusing to judge harshly or negatively someone who may offend us in some way is, I think, a great way of exercising our recognition of the dignity of the human person. People could do things to aggravate us, there's no question about that. The other night I was having a great sleep and the doorbell rang, and it was a fellow asking at 11:45 at night for a little bit of money so that he could go down to Burger King and get hamburgers so that he could satisfy his thirst or his hunger after, I think, a difficult night. And whereas you're tended to be have a tendency to judge somebody pretty harshly like that, you have to realize that that person is probably carrying a heavy burden in terms of his own personal struggles, and so you have to be patient with people who come to your door. That's for sure. Hoping that God will be patient with me in my own various struggles. I'm sure He is.
Thank you very much, Father.
You're welcome.
And so our sixth gospel value is the gospel value of excellence. And so when you think of excellence, Father, what does that mean to you?
Excellence is not, I don't think, to be confused with perfection. Jesus said to be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, but really in another gospel he's saying, in a parallel kind of a way, he said, be compassionate as your heavenly Father is compassionate. Heavenly Father who calls the sun to shine on the bad and the good, rain to fall on the bad and the good. Our compassion, our love should fall on others the same way that the Heavenly Father cares for them, and without discrimination, But so I think, as a wise man was saying, life is difficult, and those challenges that we face in life are meant to help us to grow into the person that God is calling us to be. And God is there to help us to face those difficulties, those challenges in our lives, and to help us to grow beyond them, to have a vision of who we can be. That's what I think the virtues are. The virtues in our Catholic faith are meant to give us a sense of who God is and what we are called to strive to become ourselves, something to aspire to, the virtues of faith, hope, and charity, the other virtues that you've mentioned, are really calls to grow, to become the person that God is calling us to be. For sure.
And so during this time, can you think of a way that people could show their strive for excellence?
Well, I think it's important to, as many people have discovered, I think it's important during this time to have structure in your day, especially if you're off school or if you're off work, to not let time go by inadvertently, but to do something with each day, to build in certain tasks that you try to accomplish. Doesn't mean that there can't be downtime or movie time or whatever, but I think to make the most out of the time that we are given each day, and in so doing, be it schoolwork, be it physical health, be it cooking, be it cleaning, be it reading, there are many activities that we can engage in that give us a sense of purpose and accomplishment, and that actually better us, that make us better people, healthier people. So having that structure, I would encourage people to try to structure their day each day if they are home a lot, so that the time is well used.
Wonderful. Thank you.